If you thought laser engravers were too expensive, too large, and too complicated, you'd be right. Until recently, there's a lot of different options on the internet if you want to get your feet wet into the laser game. But there's one of them that stands or sits above them all, and it's this one, the xTool D1 by Makeblock. If you're a noob like me and you want to dip your toes into the world of lasers, this is the one you want. The xTool D1 is easy, it's beginner friendly, and yet you can do a lot with it. Like a lot. I'm going to show you. Value-wise, it's calorie dense. You get a lot of features and a lot of quality for the money, which seems kind of rare on entry-level tools. You can cut through 1/2-inch plywood and acrylic. You can engrave on all kinds of wood, metal, stainless steel, leather, cardboard, paper, fabric, glass, mugs, food. But most importantly, this tool makes making a lot of fun. And did I mention it's a freaking laser? And when I say this is easy for beginners, I mean it. Within 45 minutes of unboxing it, I had it assembled and I had already engraved on my first piece of walnut. And I have never used a laser ever in my life before. In this video, I'm going to give you a tour of the xTool D1 from a homeowner, woodworker, DIY perspective. I'm going to show you all the features that I think make it superior to its competitors. And while I did get this unit for free in exchange for my opinion, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you what I like about it, and I'm also going to tell you about 3 things that I don't like and that I think are missing and I think could be improved on. I'm also going to spill the beans on one of the most important things behind this laser that no one, like 0 people, have talked about. And I think it's actually one of the main reasons why you should buy this laser over others. It is literally world-changing, life-changing, has massive consequences, and no one's talking about it, and I think you should know about it. And of course, I'm going to show you hands-on how to use it and all of the different ways I've already begun to use it in my shop. Some of them are really predictable, and then there's some things I've been doing with this that I never thought I would even do. So it's time to channel your inner Tom Brady. Apologies to Atlanta, and let's go. Let's talk about the packaging. If I were giving it a grade, A+. Really impressed with the packing. Custom cut, high quality Kaizen foam-esque material. Everything was placed and packed securely and precisely. You can tell that the people manufacturing and putting this together take great pride of their workmanship. The packing on this sets the stage. It tells you right away this stuff is high quality. Build quality, also A+. If Apple were to make a laser, it would look just like this. In fact, if you look real close, it kind of looks like the Apple logo could be on here and that it could appear on the Apple website. Or also if Tesla made a laser, it would probably look like this. This thing is beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's clean. A lot of its competitors all look the same, but this one looks way different than its competitors. Now, I've not tested every laser, but Brandon from the Make or Break shop is basically the authority on YouTube, and he's tested almost all of them, and even he says this is one of the best and nicest lasers he's reviewed. And I can see why he thinks that. Over the last several months of using this, I've come to the same conclusion. Assembly, pretty easy. Now admittedly, I had some anxiety on this because I'm really not good when it comes to assembling things. I was never good at Legos, and I thought it was gonna be a nightmare. When I got my CNC, it took me days to put it together. When I put together 3D printers, it takes me a few hours. I put this together in about 38 minutes and 11 seconds. I timed it. And that was with me watching 2 kids, reading the instructions twice, and watching the YouTube instructional video twice. Now that I am familiar with it, if I had to put one together again, I think it would take me about 7 minutes. It's not hard to put together. The written instructions are clear and amazing, and the YouTube video walking you through it is really good too. I'll put a link down below for you to check that out. The laser is really cool. It uses a dual laser technology where it combines 2 laser beams into a reflector and then compresses an ultra-fine laser spot of 0.08 millimeters. The unit I have is a 10-watt laser head, but it has the output and the power equivalent of a 15-watt laser head. What I also love about the xTool is the laser heads are swappable. You can upgrade to a 20-watt laser head if you have a small business and you want to run faster. So I love that this is kind of future-proof and upgradable. Now how these work is you've got an X and a Y gantry, and then you have the Z position. And in these budget lasers, you really don't have a motor there. You have to manually focus it, which could be a friction point. Other lasers give you a little setup block for you to gauge the distance between the laser and the work material, but this has a brilliant design. It has this little kickstand that you just knock down, you loosen a knob, you lower the Z head, and then you tighten it and then kick the stand back up. Brilliant, simple design. It's one of my favorite features about the unit. At first, I thought the lack of a base would be a downside, but it's actually a pro. You can set this thing on any work material, adjust the Z height, and go engrave right on it. So let's say you built the dining room table and you want to engrave your logo on the underside. You can flip the dining room table over, find where you want to put your logo, set this thing, and go to engrave. Pretty cool. It's also solid and square. After assembling it, I took my $120 woodpecker square to see how out of square this was. And to my surprise, it was square right out of the box. No need to tune it. Impressive. The feet on this are adjustable. You get an additional 8 feet that you can screw on the corners to raise the base up if you need to slide larger objects underneath it. And while you have the xTool raised up, you can put on the rotary attachment and engrave a coffee mug or a tumbler or any object that is cylindrical in nature. Here's what I don't like. There's 2 main problems I see with this and 2 lesser problems that I just have questions about. The main 2 things I don't like about this is that it lacks limit switches. On my CNC and my 3D printer, I have limit switches on the X, Y, and Z axes. And basically what that does is it prevents the unit from running into itself and jamming and ruining motors. Limit switches are pretty cheap. Like, I can get replacement limit switches for a couple of dollars, so I'm really not sure why they're not included in this. It's still a good laser, but I think limit switches would take it up a notch. The other thing that I don't like about this, which is a common complaint, is on the right-hand side of the unit, you have a data and power cable. While they give you a zip tie to tie onto the frame, this thing just kind of drags over. I'm always worried that I'm going to cut into it. Now I'm in the process of brainstorming how to design a drag chain that I can 3D print and mount on top and put those wires in it to get it up off the work surface. But this is a feature I'm not crazy about and has a potential of ruining your machine if you're not careful. The third thing I don't like, which isn't a massive deal based on the class of laser this is, but the cables seem a little thin, and I wish they were like rubber insulated and a little bit more heavy duty. But again, this is, you know, kind of a homeowner desktop-esque laser engraver. It's not really meant to be a production machine, although you could do that in a small business. I just wish the cables were a little beefier. I don't know that they need to be, I just wish that they were tougher so that I don't mess them up. And the last thing that I see is missing on this is right out of the box, it doesn't come with air assist. If you don't know what air assist is, it's basically a stream of air that shoots down on the laser to put out any potential fires. When you're doing cutting, you get really clean cuts. Now, xTool just came out with an air assist. It's in high demand right now. I'd love to have one, hint, hint. And I think that would really take this to the next level if you're doing a lot of cutting through material. At first, I was a little intimidated by how I would control this device. It turns out it's pretty easy. You can use a Mac, a Windows, or even Android or iOS. I'm connected with USB, but it also has Wi-Fi built in. You can connect wirelessly to it, or you can put a memory card inside of it and print offline. LaserBox Basic is a software that comes with it, and it's free, and it's pretty basic, but it's the perfect software if you're new to laser engravers. And if you're gonna get serious with this, you're probably gonna wanna buy a software called Lightburn, which now works with the D1. Probably most woodworkers will use a laser engraver to engrave on wood. Cutting boards are super easy to make. The problem with cutting boards is everyone and their mom makes them on Etsy. But if you have a laser engraver, you can stand out. If you offer personalization on your cutting boards, you can probably charge double or more and actually make more sales. This is a walnut cutting board I made out of scraps a long time ago, and let's see how easy it is to engrave on the bottom. The first thing I do is square up to my workbench. Since I have an MFT table, I'm gonna make use of my bench dogs. I'm gonna place the board, and now that I have it set, this is my favorite part. Unscrew this knob, lift up the laser head, and you use this kickstand to set the focal distance. Tighten, bring the kickstand back up, and now you're calibrated. Can't be easier. I'm gonna move the gantry, measure my width. Just gonna move the gantry with my hand and position the X in the center. All right, I've got laser box open. I'm just gonna put my logo on here. Now I want my logo about 60 millimeters wide. So I'm gonna come in here and just hit that, it scales it up. I click on what I wanna engrave. I could cut it. I'm gonna engrave. I'm going to select basswood. Even though this is walnut, I found that it's been working okay. And then I'm gonna click this start button. It's gonna let you preview it. And this little button right here is where the laser is gonna start. I wanna put it in the center, and then I can hit framing and watch the laser. It will now show me where it's gonna do its path. Check out the smoke. This is why you want to do this in a ventilated area. My door's open. All right, let's check it out. I would just suggest if you're gonna do cutting boards, make sure you do the engraving before you do your oil and your finish. This one already had finish, and I wanted to see if it would engrave it with the finish. It did, it just took 2 passes, but you get a little bit darker and better outcome if you do it prior to finishing. Now, using a laser engraver to engrave on a cutting board or any type of wood is pretty obvious. But what has surprised me is some other ways I've found use for the laser engraver. You can engrave really quickly on cardboard. It's free, and it's an awesome material to help you determine your scale, your sizing, to see if you even like the design before you commit to something like wood or leather or metal or anything like that. Here you go. Look no further. The answer to the universe. I have a small Etsy shop where I sell things that I make, and occasionally when I get a big expensive order, I want to take the branding up just a notch. I already have custom tape for my packages, but I thought if there was a way I could put a custom message on the outside and inside of the box, the laser engraver would be a perfect tool to do that. And so every now and then, not all the time, I'll use the engraver to put a special message on the box. And on the inside, I'll put the customer's name, and it's a great surprise to show them that I really took the extra effort to show that I cared and appreciated them buying from a small business. I never even thought about engraving on cardboard. I would just assume it would catch on fire. And of course, you can do more than engrave, you can cut. This is 3mm pine plywood, and you can cut right through it. I found a free website where you can put in dimensions and it will give you all the files to make a box. I'll link that website below. But in a matter of 10 minutes or so, I cut a custom sized box. You could also use this thickness of plywood to make templates. Instead of using a bandsaw and a jigsaw and then sanding to the line, you could design your files and cut the perfect template and then use your laser made template to mass produce your other parts with your router. I'm new to leather working, and so I was able to use a scrap of leather and engrave and cut a design on there. Now, I didn't dial in my settings just right, and it didn't cut all the way, but with a little bit more trial and error or a little slower speed, no problem, I can cut through this leather. And what a motto to live by. I've never been a fan of having your name on the front of a Bible. I don't know why, I just never liked the look, but I thought it'd be great to have one on the back. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this. I engraved my name on the back of my Bible. Definitely the most nerve-wracking project I've ever done, because I did not want to mess this up. But within a minute, it was done and it was perfect. The settings and laser box were right on the money for this leather. Another cool feature about the xTool D1 is some of the packages come with a rotary attachment, which means you can engrave on your Yeti or tumbler or any cylindrical, is that a word, object. I did a few of our tumblers myself and didn't have any problems. But the one downside to this unit is if you have an odd shaped cup, mug, glass, or even tumbler that you want to engrave, this is not going to give enough support, which is where xTool's new offering comes in. They just released the RA2 Pro, which is a 4-in-1 rotary engraver, and my favorite feature about this that I want to check out is that it has a chuck built in, kind of like you would see on a lathe. There's not a material, size, or shape that you can't engrave on with this. What's also really cool about the RA2 Pro is it's not just locked into The xTool, it works with almost every other diode laser engraver on the market. So even if you have one of the competitors to xTool, you can still get the RA2 Pro and use it. Now, there's one on the way to me that I'm gonna do a review on, but for any of you that would like to buy one right now and get a discount, there's a discount code below, $10 off. It's only good for 10 days from the published date of this video. So if you're even remotely interested in checking out that brand new RA2 Pro, now's the time to get it. I promised I was going to tell you something that no one has mentioned on YouTube, and it's about the company that is behind xTool. They're called Makeblock, and if you've never heard of Makeblock, you need to know about Makeblock. Now this is about to sound like a sponsored paid promotion, and I promise you, I'm not sponsored by them, I don't know them, I've never talked to anyone from Makeblock, no one's paying me money to say this. But their mission and their vision in this world is incredible, and you should know about it. Now usually when you say words like mission and vision, it sounds like a lot of corporate BS, but this one's different. Makeblock's vision is to help more people enjoy creating while having fun. I can get behind that. But how they go about doing this is what is amazing, and I think you should know, and for two reasons. First, they got started and still do work with helping kids in STEAM education. They're really passionate about helping kids become creators with their head and their hands using high quality tools. As a father of 3 kids who love gaming and love the internet, this strikes a chord with me. My wife and I have a huge burden and passion to make sure that the kids we put into the world are not just consumers who consume digital content and play games, but are also creators and people who are a blessing to the world, and teaching them how to use tools like computers and learning engineering and learning math and learning design and learning how to use things like lasers and 3D printers and CNCs, and to do it in a safe way that is fun at an early age is a game changer. Now, there's so many companies making lasers, but what I like about the xTool is it's made by a company that is driven to help children at an early age learn STEAM education and learn tools like this. And I think the effects of that in our world and in our life are untold right now, because I think we can all agree that what we need more in this world is more people who are creative instead of destructive. As you can tell, I'm really excited about having one of these. I never thought I'd have a laser in my shop. When I started looking at the budget diode lasers, I saw this one. It was clearly better than all the rest, but I never thought I'd be able to have it. I am blown away by the quality and the value of this little guy. If you want to get your hands on one of these, learn more about Makeblock, or get the new RA2 Pro with $10 off, I'll put links in the description below for you to check out. This machine is awesome, but don't take my word for it. Brandon from the Make or Break Shop is, in my opinion, the authority on YouTube on all things diode lasers. He's got, I think, the best video on this machine on YouTube. Check it out right here. Peace.